Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here today. But before I begin, I would like to thank Spot On Media Services and Events for organizing the Digital Media Forum for the in its fourth edition. So much has been changed about our industry in just the last couple of years. And there is no better time for the industry professionals to come together and discuss new developments, challenges, and solutions than today. We are living in remarkable times. We hear a lot those days about how awe-inspiring the rise of digital media is, how much latitude it gives brands in the field of communication and customer engagement, and I believe that there is a full, complete session on engagement afterwards. And here I say, for the most part of it, I do agree with its assets and benefits. No need to re-mention that internet has revolutionized our industry. Google, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, YouTube, they all made it possible for brands to interact with consumers in the way that could have hardly even imagined back in 1990, not even in year 2008 with the start of the financial crisis. The growth of social channels such as Facebook and Twitter now gives us insight to individual consumers that we never had before. The degree of detail is staggering. Where before we put ads into magazines or into newspapers and we hoped it reached the right audience, now we can target people living in precise localities based on their specific interests and likes. With adept data analysts, you can literally ensure that only people who see your ad are those who are highly to make the purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, this is currently, we're running into something called the celebrated era of the micro-targeting times. Well, at the rate of development and the speed of development, it is now we are getting ourselves into another era over the coming year to come, if it's not here already. It is something called an absolute sustainable precision of the nano-targeting. And this can only be achieved through digital. So just to take you on a quick trip, just to prove the case, and I mean, most of you know these figures. If I look at 2013, we spent, not only spent, approximately $5 billion on digital in the MENA region. This accounts to something like 37% growth over 2013, over 2012. So the trend, if this trend continues and if this trend continues to be there, we will see approximately close to $10 billion happening over the coming year to year and a half. So the trend is already here, so it's happening. So we see now like Facebook and LinkedIn already have regional operations. Google is expanding its offices here. Twitter is set to open its regional operation in Dubai to support local advertisers in the market. So the rise in technology and digital hasn't just revolutionized the B2C business or relationship for advertisers. Technology has transformed the way that media is being bought and sold. The real-time bidding, automated buying, and the selling of all kinds of media, and what is currently being the buzzword of programmatic buying, will really keep us busy over the coming 2 to 3 years. Just to share with you again, the benefit of programmatic buying are just major, are immense. By this, I mean any buying, and the programmatic always takes care of anything related to buying and selling media space through an automated service, which means the process is managed by a software. This shift frees up valuable time of resources, allowing agencies to focus their top professionals to areas that hasn't been there before. So the trend, and we have to keep in mind that if the trend of online buying and selling continues to be there, and I know for a fact multinationals abroad, as well as one multinational here in this part of the world, a regional operation here, are having are reconsidering the human resources factor on who is going to be running the programmatic buying. Is it the typical media buyer, or is it going to be somebody from a different discipline? And what we have come across, through observation through various advertising regions, is that now this is being taken over by totally new human resource factor. Somebody called the money, what they call it, in DAX and so on, so the money trader. Yeah. So now we have a totally new paradigm happening in our industry. Of course, attracting new talent to our industry is going to change the way we do business as we go on. So we have to prepare ourselves or start getting ready for trading, for real-time online trading as soon as possible. So in our region, programmatic has naturally become par for the course with the social channels. But soon, we will begin to see being adopted across the board. So we were somewhere, yeah? Now we are taking it all around the place. So in more developed markets, programmatic buying has even become, has expanded to include digital and streaming TV. So this is something very new. And in the past, we hear, the NBA games and football games in North America, nobody buys 2 days ahead of time. They buy it in real-time bidding. So now this thing has moved one step closer to us on real day-by-day bidding. So these are all developments that we can look forward to in the next few years in the Middle East as well. To give you an idea how fast this area of industry is growing, at least in our part of the world here, in 2013 we only had $2 million just spent on programmatic buying. 2014 it grew to 7 million. 2015, 17, and in 2016 we expect a $32 million. And this is projected, and honestly, I do not agree with the figures here. And I will tell you why in a minute. Because from what we know from multinationals abroad, they have already told their agencies and agreed, and they have instructed their marketing managers, you go out there and by 2016, you will have to be buying approximately 50% of your total media budget through programmatic. What does this mean? That means out of the $550 billion advertising market around the world, we will end up approximately $250 billion. So if you project the same thing, to what we have got here, and here what you have seen, these figures right here, they are just projecting an arithmetic progression which is acceptable. But what the clients and the industry is telling us at the rate that we see, the industry is telling us, no, arithmetic progression doesn't work anymore in this industry. You have to go in a far greater speed and far greater acceleration, maybe call it the geometric progression. So if this is applied or lined with what we've got in our region, our market is at $20 billion here. So if this is true, in 2016 we should be approximately between $8 to $10 billion all in digital media. So, and even for all of us here, and I would really like to see more, I have news for you. This trend will continue, and I have a feeling that this room is going to be, instead of hosting a 300 or 400 delegates, I think in another 2 years, when digital is going to be half of our total business, I think the room, Najla will have to prepare a room of maybe 1,200, 1,400 delegates. So what I'm saying is that it is not just the future, it is happening, it is here whether we like it or not, so let's get geared for it. As media buyers in this part of the world, they fully understand the nature of programmatic buying, and they will continue to learn, and they continue to adapt and deliver some kind of new solutions over time. We should also be mindful that challenges that this new trend presents. If you remember, in the years of 2000, the decade of the 2000 and beginning of 2010, we were really fed up, or not just fed up, we were really blasted with rhetorics like, I want to see transparency, and I want to see governance, and I want to see this, and I want to see that. Now with digital, few things have changed, and now our worry started moving into a totally different platform, totally different plateau. And our worries right now has become something related to fraud and privacy. So these two items that are really taking so much time and effort from everybody across the world, including our resources, IAA, across the world. So we're dealing with governments, and we're dealing with countries and ministries of information and commerce and so on, trying to curb down the levels of complaints about being intruding on privacy or producing certain level of frauds. So I think the same trend with no exception will come to this town or to this region, and we will have to be ready and prepared to do it. We need to look at operators to take the mantle of accountability and responsibility to ensure that there's a human oversight, and that media space that is being transacted is a bona fide, and that the statistics claimed are true. And all of us, we still, even today, with even some researchers still trying, to digitize the results and so on, we still among each other, oh, we disagree, we agree, we don't, and so on. So now with digital, I think this level is going to go, or this argument is going to go, to be replaced by something else. So as an industry body, the IAA closely works with governments, agencies, and service providers across the world to ensure that new systems are being introduced and self-regulated. And also bare minimum of controls are in place to ensure privacy and oversight, while still allowing the smooth automated system to do its job. For our part, as a client agency, media men and women, I believe that we need to adapt to these new times as well, and take responsibility for the fact that there is a need for education. And this is something we always take with us wherever we go. Education comes on top because it starts there, and that's what you have learned is what you usually apply through your career. So we need to invest in our own people. For those of you here who are in decision makers, please invest in your own people. Invest in the people who are looking after your digital media, because they are going to be the people who are going to answer the questions for the market later on. So these are interesting times, ladies and gentlemen. Technology and digital will continue to evolve, and they will continue to alter the face of our business. We and the IAA pledge to continue to identify and report on movements in the industry that are sure to become global trends, and to work towards making it easier, safer, and more beneficial to be in the world of advertising. Just before I leave this stage, I would like to invite you to continue to be supporters of the IAA causes by joining our UAE chapter here in the Media City and participating in its activities, or supporting the World Center initiatives and programs such as the upcoming Africa Rising, a new consumer generation that's due to be held in Ghana, in Africa, in April, or our Thought Leadership Forum, which is a part of our What's Coming Next series of events due to be held in London on May the 18th, or perhaps joining us on our biggest industry biannual event, Coming Home to the UAE, the upcoming 44th World Congress in February 2016. It's going to be held in Abu Dhabi, and the final details are still being drawn. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for having me here. Najla and the team, thank you for putting up such a conference. I really wish you luck. If you have any questions, I'll be able to take them during the coffee breaks. So enjoy the rest of the forum over the coming 2 days, and all the best to you. Thank you.